Well, a lot of turmoil taking place in Pakistan, even as we are bringing to you the latest from there. What we understand, of course, is that there has been a strategy change from the opposition parties in Pakistan. Now, joining me from Pakistan is Mr. Khalid Jamil. He's a journalist over there. Mr. Jamil, good morning. Thank you for speaking to us on Republic TV. Now, Mr. Jamil, we are seeing a lot of... now we are seeing a lot of turmoil in Pakistan, and what we've seen is the latest statement that came in from Mr. Imran Khan saying that I will have the last laugh, saying, appearing at least to be extremely confident. Do you think he's got an ace up his sleeve, or is this just saber-rattling?
Prime Minister Imran Khan is really in a difficult time, but still he's a very confident and talking to the media person, and also having a meeting with their allies and their MPs, and he's very committed to fight till the end. Meanwhile, the President of Pakistan, Mr. Arif Alvi, has already submitted a presidential reference in the Supreme Court of Pakistan, where the 5-member bench headed by the Chief Justice of Pakistan will hear this petition rightly now after 2 hours in this building in Supreme Court of Pakistan, and they will decide the fate of the angry MPs of the PTI ruling government who have already joined the opposition to step down to vote for the no confidence motion against the Prime Minister. But meanwhile, Prime Minister is feeling very confident, and he has hope that his 2 or 3 major allies, Muttahida Qawmi Movement, Pakistan Muslim League Quaid-e-Azam, and Baluchistan Awami National Party will join and support him in that difficult time. And let's see what will be the decision of the Supreme Court. Actually, this decision will impact largely on the no confidence motion, and if the court decided the fate about the MPs of PTI that they will be de-seated for the entire life, that will be a very difficult time for the MPs to join the opposition hands. Other side, PMLQ, MQM, and Baluchistan Awami National Party are not yet decided either to join the government or the opposition, but within a couple of days they will decide to whom they will give support, and Prime Minister is very confident that he will regain the support of their allies.
Right now, the Prime Minister might be extremely confident, but the other part of the story is that the Pakistani army, if I were to use that word, isn't very happy with the Prime Minister. And it is no surprise, that has happened, because there have been certain changes that were made that did not go down well with the Chief of the Army Staff. So in that situation, would it be correct to say that he does not enjoy the blessings of the army anymore?
I don't think Prime Minister has a support and had a very good connection in terms and relations with the military establishment in Pakistan. But there are political rumors, and always the opposition parties and the political analysts use this as a political tool to use some kind of such things in their favor. Similarly, now in Pakistan, opposition are using some terms which help and support their point of view, and at the same time the government is also using some terms and events for their support. But I think in the entire situation, the military establishment keep them neutral, and Prime Minister is very confident that this neutrality will also help him to bring in order not only the House but also his party.
Morning, Samiksha this side. If we talk about the issues on which Imran Khan has been cornered, there are many. If we talk about the COVID mismanagement, corruption for that matter, even the plunging economy of Pakistan, if you could help us enumerate some of these issues over which Imran Khan is facing massive backlash.
Actually, the major issue that Imran Khan is facing is inflation. if you see the macro and microeconomic indicators, the current account deficit is very good now. Export significantly increased during the last 2-3 years. At the same time, the revenue collection in Pakistan is historically upright. Only issue is the inflation. The inflation is now in double digit, and that's hitting the common person, and the opposition parties are also taking advantage of this issue, and they are trying to put the pressure on the Prime Minister to step down, and because the provincial states governments couldn't control on the inflation. This is the issue, real issue, which should be addressed by the economic team of the Prime Minister as well. The states, ministers and governments should also focus on this issue.
Right. And, if we talk about the change in strategy of the opposition for that matter, a stir that was planned, a march that was planned for today has now been postponed to March 27. And the reason for this is primarily because the opposition wants the no confidence motion to pass through first. So help us read into that as well, because there is definitely a change in strategy by the opposition.
Actually, opposition is also trying to put pressure on the Prime Minister because the rally of the opposition was earlier scheduled on the 23rd March, and it was called Inflation March, but due to the National Parade Day and also OIC conference, Foreign Minister conference was being held in Islamabad on these days, that's why the opposition postponed this Inflation March from 23rd to 25th, and now the Prime Minister has announced his procession and rallies on the 27th March. That's why opposition also wants to keep pressure on Prime Minister, and they also postpone from 25 to 27. Their strategy is to keep pressure on Prime Minister continuously. That will help them to put political pressure and public pressure to compel the Prime Minister to submit his resignation. But the Prime Minister is determined, and he is hopeful that he will manage within the Parliament and from outside the Parliament and get the public support as well. That's why he is very optimistic, and let's see what will happen in the coming 2-3 days and the next week.
Right. Now, what I wanted to ask you, Mr. Jamil, was that even if he were to survive this no confidence motion, which by the looks of it right now seems a little difficult, even then we expect that his position will actually weaken, because there are a large number of people from his own party now who have come up in arms. We've had comments come in from a large number of dissident lawmakers.
Actually, there are two options in front of Prime Minister. If he lost the majority in the National Assembly, he will step down. But the other challenges or problems for the opposition parties as well, the economic issues, and the opposition also has a very small number, and they are also depending on the 3 to 5 allies parties. So that's why it's difficult to manage in such situation. And day before yesterday, the Alliance of the Opposition Party, PDM, announced a charter which says that they will prefer to go in a general election after the successful of the no trust motion against the Prime Minister. Their first priority is general election rather than to step into government to formulate a national government and stay here 1 or 2 years. They're also thinking that the general election should be held as soon as possible in Pakistan. So that's why I think even Prime Minister survive in the no confidence motion, but the challenges of mistrust and trust from the allies and his own party members will compel him to announce maybe election before the time after the budget, which will be scheduled in the June. And it might be possible that Pakistan will observe general election rather than 2023.
Yes.
We are seeing that maybe Prime Minister announced the general election in 2022
yes.
in the last quarter.
Well, that's right. Thanks for the moment, Khalid Jamil. We'll keep coming back to you for all the latest on that.